Hey, moron! Hey, moron! Dude! Look at me! I'm the waterboard, dude!
Wait. Well, good Sunday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo. And as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. I hope everybody's had a great Thanksgiving. It is time for some more NFL football today. We have the Commanders versus the Tennessee Titans, where Cowboy fans, if you're hoping against hope that they can make the playoffs, you're rooting for the Tennessee Titans. But then again, when do we ever root for the Commanders with the left hand up? And then we have the game of the day. Oh my goodness. We have the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Baltimore Ravens. And I'm hoping that the Philadelphia Eagles get bitch slapped, that they get punked, that they literally get run into the ground, because I'm sick and tired of hearing Eagle fans that are cackling and crowing with their cake schedule that they have had all season. Now, they may end up getting home field advantage because the Lions' schedule is a lot tougher. Their division is definitely a lot tougher. There probably will be 3 teams from the NFC North, which is crazy to even think about, but that's where we are right now. And the Eagles, they don't have a tough schedule. This is where, the Eagles, they're fortunate that they didn't win the division last year. They got the easier schedule. And also, we have the Buffalo Bills going against the 49ers, and you want them to get beat as well. So some definite games that are worth watching. We'll be live streaming starting at 1 o'clock with the Commanders game. We'll see if there's a Rio rant after the game. And, of course, Philly 500 with the Baltimore Ravens. So we'll see you guys there at 1 o'clock. In the meantime, let's talk about the Dallas Cowboys, who are off until Sunday night against the Cincinnati Bengals, another team that has disappointed. Since Joe Burrow's ascension in the NFL and going to the Super Bowl, the Cincinnati Bengals have been thought to be a great team. And lo and behold, it seems like, he had that one great year, and injuries and things have kind of caught up to him where they're not that great. And you have to think that the Cowboys finally getting a win at home, maybe, just maybe, there's a chance that they get a win there. If they get a win there, then things start looking a little bit different depending on what happens with the teams today. If it ends up being you see the Rams lose to New Orleans, that's a big help for the Cowboys. Again, if the 49ers lose to the Bills, that's a big help. And if Washington loses to Tennessee, lo and behold, the Cowboys are right back smack dab in the middle of trying to get a playoff spot. Now, I have no delusions of thinking that the Cowboys will be a playoff team. But here's what you have to actually look at and say is actually a good thing for us. As bad as this season has been, and it's been bad, we've had so many injuries that it's decimated us as far as being cohesive. It's been, the learning curve has slowed us down, and we've just been beat down. But one thing you can look at and say, the Cowboys, and I'm going to disagree with a lot of people because people have said, oh, well, Dak Prescott's always had a great offensive line. When I look at the Eagles over the course of, since their Super Bowl in 2017, they've had a great offensive line year in and year out. But in 2017, that was when the Dallas Cowboys offensive line started taking a nosedive. And last year was better. Last year was probably the best year on the offensive line that we've had since about 2016. But from Tyron Smith beginning to break down to Travis Frederick, getting the Hillian-Barr syndrome, slowly but surely, this offensive line has been terrible. You may remember times where we had Jason Peters, who couldn't play more than about 25 plays a game starting. And we've had Joe Looney's, we've had Tyler Biadasz, we've had a hodgepodge of centers. we hadn't found anybody to really replace Travis Frederick. And even this year, Tyler Guyton was drafted to replace Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith has dropped off the face of the earth just about and may be going to IR on a disaster team with the Jets. Tyler Guyton has been blocking better, but is a penalty magnet. And you look at that and say, maybe he needs to go to the right side. Terrence Steele, who got the big contract, got the Bucks, has not been good since his knee injury. And so you're looking at an offensive line that's been completely in flux. And then you've got Zach Martin, who has not been good this year, seeming to have just gotten old. And you have to figure that he's gone. So the three big players that we've had on the offensive line that was stability for about 5-6 years, they're gone. The good thing is we know that Tyler Smith is a stud. And Cooper Beebe, be it young and starting out as a guard and now playing center, who held Dexter Lawrence, one of the best defensive linemen in football, to no pressures, who's had 3 games without giving up any pressures, is stepping into the role of Travis Frederick. And now you have to look at Brock Hoffman, who has been thrown into the breach because Zach Martin has been injured. Brock Hoffman is right now playing better than Zach Martin's played all season. And so you start looking at that and saying the center of your offensive line is really good, right? Or it's getting to be really good. I don't know if Tyler Guyton just, it's the rookie issues, although he's had a bunch of different injuries and things, that maybe he needs to go back on the right side. And then you need to look and say, I need a left tackle. We got back Chuma Igoda, who wasn't good last year, but he played pretty good this past week against the Giants. So, I'll say pump the brakes a little bit on, on Chuma Igoda. But having had this time to reset the clock, getting experience, you have to think that Cooper Beebe and Brock Hoffman are going to be better next year just by having more experience. You have to think Tyler Guyton, who started out looking terrible, who's blocking better, he's not getting beat inside as much other than with the officials, should be better next year, and that maybe the Cowboys have completely rebuilt their offensive line and taken their lumps. And we may need to because, we've gone through and we've kind of killed the Cowboys and their draft picks and said, they suck and everything else. And Will McClay needs to take responsibility on some of the moves on the rosters. But you really can't judge a draft class really the first couple of years. You need to see time to see how many of these guys make it into the third year or how many of these guys develop and become really good players. And this is where now maybe it's not as bad as we thought over the course of the last 3 weeks because he's had an opportunity and has stayed healthy. We have to look at Luke Schoonmaker and say he's actually playing pretty good. I believe he's gotten 14 catches in the last 3 weeks and becoming a decent weapon and definitely a security blanket for Cooper Rush. They seem to be on the same page. Another person we have to look at too as well is say Mozzie Smith. Mozzie Smith, whose rookie year, there was the about 35-pound weight loss and seeming to be in the doghouse and things. He all of a sudden has started playing a lot better. He's got 10 tackles in the last 3 games, and right now is probably the best interior defensive lineman play we've had since maybe Jay Ratcliffe. So maybe, just maybe, some of these young guys finally getting their chances and getting their opportunities to grow ends up being a little bit better than we thought. So we're going to finish this off because we do have a full day of football. I've got some honey-do list things to do this morning. I got to go to Michael's because we got to get some more Christmas decorations, and I got to put some mulch in the flower beds before I get to enjoy the games because if Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. But let's check in here with Rich Eisen.
the Dallas Cowboys won a football game this weekend.
They did.
And I will say this about your Dallas Cowboys. I was ready to pack it in on them on behalf of everybody else in the United States of America who likes to troll on your Cowboys. I just didn't see any there. And I saw them going into Washington, and I saw them being shorthanded, and I saw them being beaten.
You have got to be smoking something over there this morning.
Well, appreciate that. And they came out with the win. They came out with the win. And so how is Jerry Jones feeling today? As we all know, he's looking for a storybook ending to the all-in season that does appear to be all out.
Not yet.
And not yet.
Not yet.
Right?
Not yet.
It's kind of like that. That's which one was it? Was it Holy Grail or Meaning of Life?
You're looking at Chris. He's had no idea.
No.
He doesn't know what a rabbit
that Holy
is.
Grail was not quite dead. Yes, I'm not dead yet. Bring out your dead.
Bring out your dead.
And then somebody would throw somebody on the cart, and I'm not dead yet. Cowboys are the not dead yet guys.
Yes. Chris, he was looking at you. He had no idea.
I'm just speaking truth over here. That's all.
Well, I'm just saying here. I'm listening to you last segment going on about how you're just emotionally unattached and you're numb. And then when I tried that a few weeks ago, it was just like, no, you're not really.
Because you weren't. I'm being honest. I'm numb. I'm numb to it.
I can be numb and watch this team. Like I got a little hyped on Sunday.
You should, because Cooper Rush can throw the football.
But here's the deal. Honestly, I feel like we should beat Washington. No, if we win 2 games, let me tell you, if we win 2 games every year, I think that those 2 games should be against Washington. That's just how it's a deep rooted dislike. I
do respect that.
That's fan.
I respect.
You know what I mean?
You know what? I think it's working here. I think T.J. Jefferson wants balloons and flowers from Kevin Durant. You're just trying to get. You want them from different. You want them from different.
Rich, I had it out.
I don't know.
Okay? I had it out. I had a contract that I tore up. I just taped it back together just because this has got to hang.
What does it say? What does it say again?
Oh, it just says TJ. If you leave the Dallas Cowboys, you can't come back until the 2030 season. And
5 year out.
That was dictated, not read.
And it's not. And Jay Felly did not notarize.
Not yet.
But he could because he's an official notary.
I tore it up. And then I taped it back together.
Not really.
Well, let's see what you make with this information.
But after I hear this, I might want to take.
Well, because
we just have this my official signing
your
quill ready. Because after what I hear in this, I know Jerry's going to say something to make me mad.
Jerry appeared on his weekly Tuesday spot on 105.3 The Fan. I guess when he ripped up the contracts of these 2 gents who interview him, they taped it back together because they're all still there. They're all still there.
Like I said, whatever he says is going to determine whether I sign.
Well, he was asked if it's crazy to think about giving Mike McCarthy a new contract, and here was his answer.
Well, I don't think that's crazy at all. That's not crazy. And listen, Mike McCarthy is an outstanding coach. I was listening to the game last night, watching it, and Aikman was talking about it, and he's reiterated that several times publicly. This Super Bowl winning coach. And Mike McCarthy has been there, done that. He's got great ideas. So bottom line is that in no place in my body language or anything else have you seen indications about what we're going to be doing relative to this staff at the end of this year. And we shouldn't.
So, good news if Jerry's listening to Troy Aikman sing some praises of Mike McCarthy. Bad news is, Troy Aikman, if he's listening to Troy, was very critical of the route concepts a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question, though. The finger of blame.
The
dreaded finger of blame. We're popping it out. Okay, the dreaded finger of blame that frequently gets brought out every year in the Metroplex. You pointed at who for this year's 4-7? Pointed at who?
I mean, you got to start at the top, right?
Yes, you do.
So
that's my point.
The guy
this is my point.
Who can't pass up a chance to stop and talk into one of these and say something all the time, which brings all this negative press onto the franchise.
Well, the lack of reinforcements
Yeah.
from March through training camp.
The fact that
the
we
dangling of contracts that did not not the dangling of contracts, the drawn out process of having somebody put a quill pen in the hands of two of the most important employees that we all knew needed to be extended and would. All of that stuff. Do you think McCarthy would have liked those guys signed sooner? Do you think he would like Derrick Henry in the backfield? Do you think he would like
Saquon Barkley in the backfield or Joe Mixon in the backfield? We did nothing to get better. All of our rivals, they did something. They added a piece here, a piece there to get better. How do the Eagles constantly get better and we just kind of stand pat? It seems like it doesn't make sense to me.
The question is Jerry's going to have to the finger of blame. He's going to have to put it. Well, he's going to have to put a similar digit into the figurative Metroplex air and test the temperature of folks like yourself.
Well, we're going to start putting digits in the air, and not the index or pinky or the ring or the thumb. It's the one you put up when you. I can't say the rest of it because it's M&M.
But you do have to also give it up if you're the owner of the Dallas Cowboys and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys, and this man is what you saw from your suite inside FedEx Field or whatever they're calling it now. You got to like what you see there. I mean, in all seriousness, that if he didn't have the respect and he didn't have the belief, they won the football game on the road that nobody thought they could. They got it done. First 3 quarters, they were all over Jaden Daniels. I mean,
well, Micah played. He came.
So what I'm saying to you is, you would be upset if they re-signed Mike McCarthy. You would want him to go out and get somebody completely new.
No,
or Vrabel. You want somebody. You want a Vrabel guy.
Not necessarily. If we upgrade our roster and we got some of these players, my constant argument is I don't know how Derrick Henry would have ran behind this line. You know why I keep saying that? Because I have no other line of defense, Rich. I don't have anything else to say. So I got to point at that and go, I don't know if this would work. So if we upgraded the roster, if we added some pieces, McCarthy does have a tremendous record as a coach of the Cowboys.
I wouldn't put it out of the realm. Obviously, McCarthy's coaching for his job over the next few weeks.
For sure. But it's hard when your quarterback tears the hamstring off the bone, and we weren't playing well with him, and now we have a career backup in there.
Correct.
It's harder.
The pros and the cons, you write them down. The pros is, yes, he did. He has won before. Yes, he is a guy who's got a certain style about him that when you win, it's great. He also is good with the press. He's a professional. He's a play caller as well.
Yeah.
The cons are his concepts aren't very newfangled.
Yeah.
The other thing that you bring up,
time management is always
right.
An
The
issue.
other thing you can bring up as well is that if you let him go, would somebody pick him up?
Mm-hmm. Like you have your Mike Tomlin theory. Well, Mike Tomlin gets fired at 11:10. He'd be hired by 11:20.
He's coaching for his job. He's coaching for his job.
Would Mike McCarthy get another gig next year? That's interesting.
As a head coach, I don't think so.
No, that would. Yeah.
But you want to bring him on for your offensive staff? Absolutely.
I think. Well, it would probably behoove him to take a year off and see what next year shakes out. But
why would he have to do that? What? Is he going to go in the media? Not like he can't. He's not like Belichick.
No, but
he's coaching for his job. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel.
He's coaching for his job. I'm not sure that he's had a fair shake, when you look at what teams do to try and supplement him. We lost 9 starters last year. And we figured we'd just be able to draft our way out of it. It doesn't work that way. You can't find that many starters in one draft, but we'll see what happens. So I'm going to go out, take care of business, and we're going to get back, and we're going to be watching the Eagles and the Commanders games together and hoping and praying. I'm Mark Holmes, and I appreciate you guys. Peace.